So I said you about break and continue, and we started working with collections or data structures. I said what is a data structure is. I said data structures define some set of rules and regulations for organizing data in memory, right? I said by following these rules and regulations, the complex problems can be solved easily. So Python provides some predefined data structures called which one? Collections. And Python collections are classified into different categories. So one is a sequence types and one more is a non-sequence types, right? And I said collection data types are used to represent more than one value. Collections allows to group individual objects and represent it as what? One object. By grouping the values of the objects, we can perform certain aggregate operations. And this is a sequence data types or sequences. So these are sequence data types, or the same thing you can call it as sequences. Now sequence data types are ordered collections. So where data or objects are organized in memory in sequential order, and these are called as a sequence data types like list, tuple, okay, string, range, bytes and bytes array. All sequences are index-based collection where data is read and write in sequential as well as what? Random order. So first we'll talk about list. So why we are using collections is for storing more than one value, for storing more than one object. And here these collections are dynamic in size. So all collections are dynamic in size. Okay. So collections are dynamic in size. They're not fixed in size, they are dynamic in size. Means the size of collections, incremented and decremented, okay, automatically. The size of collections. So collections are dynamic in size. So when I'm talking about collections, right? Collections are dynamic in size. The size of collections are incremented, or collections, incremented, decremented, automatically. These are not fixed in size. Okay. I mean, you don't create any collection with a specific size. You don't create a collection with a specific size. The size of the collection is automatically increased as well as what? Decrease. So that is what you're saying it is dynamic in size. Dynamic in size, right? So within this, the first collection is list. This is the first collection which is called as what here? List. The name itself, list. So it is similar to array. Like in other languages, like if you are working with a C or C++, Java, you find a data type called which one? Array, right? So list is similar to which one? Array, but it's not array. List is similar to array, but it is not a array because when you're talking about array, array is having dimensions. Like we'll say one dimensional array, two dimensional array, three dimensional array. But list is not array. List is not array. List is what here? Collection. List is not array. List is only collection. It is not a array. List is only collection. It is not a array. So assume that this is a list. Okay, assume that this is a list. So what is a list is? List is a sequence of data type. Our list is called as which one here? Sequence. So list is a immutable, mutable sequence data type, mutable, mutable sequence data type. Yes, after creating list, we can add, okay, update or remove elements or values or what is that items. So list is a mutable sequence data type. List is a mutable sequence data type. Okay, list is a mutable sequence data type. After creating a list, we can add, after creating list, we can add, update or remove elements or values or what is that items. After creating a list, we can do this because list is which data type? Mutable sequence data type. It is a mutable sequence data type. And list allows homogeneous. Okay, list allows homogeneous and heterogeneous. Okay, homogeneous and heterogeneous elements or values or items, right? So it means within the list you can store similar type as well as what different types. Homogeneous means similar type elements. Heterogeneous means different types elements. Okay, it means list allows. So the meaning of homogeneous is similar types and different types. Okay, different types of elements. Elements are nothing but values. Elements are nothing but what here? Values. So list allows similar types and different types of elements or values. But list is which data type here? Mutable sequence data type. So list is a index based. List is what here? Index based. List is an index based collection. List is index based collection where we can read, we can read and write, we can read and write elements. We can read and write elements using what here? Index. So list is an index based collection where we can read and write elements using what? Index. List is an index based collection where we can read and write elements using what? Index. Okay. So index, reading and writing is done using index. Just to see here. So this is Python definition of list. So it is a built-in data type. So what is a Python definition is? So this is Python definition of list. This is a Python definition of list. Now list are mutable sequences typically used to store collection of which data? Homogeneous data. Homogeneous means similar type. But it allows, even it allows you to store which elements here? Heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means what? Different types. Homogeneous means what? Similar type. But that is depends on your application. You may store either similar type or you may store either which one? Different types. In application development, I can use a list. Okay, I said list is a sequential data type. Okay, list is a sequence data type where list is sequence data type. List is sequence data type where, okay, data or elements are organized in sequential order inside okay, order inside memory. How the data will be organized in sequential order? How the data or the objects are stored in memory in which order? Sequential order means one by Sequential order means what here? One by one. So for example, I may develop application where, for example, I may create a list. I may create a list for storing what? Students. I'll say list of students. I can say list of students. I may create a list where I can store all the student details. I may create a list of employees. I may create a list where I can store all employee details. I may create a list of mails where I can create one list where I can put all the mails. I can create a list where I can put all the mails, right? So I can create a list of, assume that in application development, I may create a list of sales. I can say a list of sales here. So where I'm creating a list where I'm storing all the sales. Okay. So if you want to store more than one value, if you want to store more than one value, you are taking the help of which one? Collection. And within that one collection is which one here? List. So list allows, okay, list allows duplicates. List allows what here? Duplicates. Means you can enter same value any number of times. List allows what here? Duplicate elements are what? Values. Okay. List allows duplicate elements are values. Right? So example is, I said no, like example is list of, okay, list of students. I can create a list of employees. I can say list of what? Mails. Okay, list of phone numbers. List of what here? Phone numbers. I want to suppose if you take your phone book is having one list which contain phone numbers. Your phone book is having address which contain addresses. If you take phone book is one collection, what it contain? Phone numbers. If you take address book is one collection, what it contain? Addresses. Okay, if you take see so many things which you can take it as which one here? List, right? So example is like list of students, list of employees, list of mails, list of phone numbers, list of scores, list of sales, list of scores, list of, okay, list of what is that? Sales. All these are the examples where you group more than one value or information or object. So that you can call it as which type here? List type. Then how can I create a list? You can create a list in different ways. And list is a class. What is the name of the class? List class or data type. List class or data type is used to represent, is used to represent, use it to represent which object? List object. So list class or data type, you are using a list class, you are using a list class or data type. You are using list class or data type to represent which object here? List object. Like integer data type is used for representing integer value. Float data type is used for representing float value. Like that list class, because every data type in Python is what? Class. Every data type in Python is a class and data is represented as what? Objects. So how can you represent list? You can represent a list by using which data type? List data type. How can you represent the list? You can represent the list by using which data type? List data type. Then how can I create a list here? This is a syntax. So there are different ways of creating a list. There are different ways of creating a list here. These are different ways. So list may be, you can see here, list may be constructed. Okay, list may be constructed in different ways. So there is different ways of constructing the list. Now using a pair of square brackets to denote the empty list. This represent which list here? Empty list. And using square brackets separating items with what? Commas. Using square brackets separating items with what? Commas. And using list comprehension, and then using the type constructor called which one here? List. So you can construct the list in how many ways here? Four ways. First one is using pair of square brackets that will denote which list here? Empty list. Okay, using square brackets. Using what here? Square brackets. And that square bracket denotes which list here? Empty list. And using square brackets separating the items with what? Comma. Okay, using a list comprehension and using list constructor or list function or list data type, using list data type, list data type. Okay, even you can construct which one? List. If you see the first one, using pair of square brackets, you can construct the list using pair of square brackets. Okay, the square brackets, and that denotes which list here? Empty list. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to say list one. Okay, list one equal to empty square brackets. Okay, now the square brackets represent which data type here? List. For example, if it is integer, I'll say a equal to 10. 10 is a value of which type? Integer. Then a is a variable of which type? Integer type. Then here I'm saying list one equal to, I said, square brackets. I said list one equal to square brackets, and the square brackets represent what here? List. The square brackets represent what here? List. Okay. If I'm trying to say print list one, okay, print list one. Is it list one is having any values here? No, because it is empty list. I'm saying type of, okay, type of list one. List one is of which type here? List type. Okay, list one is of which type here? List type. Okay, in the same way, I'm saying a equal to some 35. So 35 is a value of which type? Integer type. So what is the value of a here? 35. What is the type of a here? Integer. Okay, now this is how you are representing an integer value, and this is how you are representing which one? List. But this is a list with empty. And if you want to create a list with some values, this is an empty list. This is what here? Empty list. This represent empty list. This represents here empty list. But if you want to create a list with values or elements, if you want to create a list with values or elements, you are using square brackets. I'm saying list two equal to within square brackets. I'm trying to represent values. Now this is a list with how many values? One value. So list three, and I'm creating a list with how many values here? Five values. Okay. This is a list with five values. I can create a list with similar type values or different type values. So 1.5, 3.5. Okay. I'm saying 4.5 and 5.5. I can create a list with similar type values or different type values. Suppose there is a names list. Okay, assume that there is a names list. Names list is having names. Okay, names list is having names. Now these are the list of names. Okay, these are the list of names. We are trying to put all the names within one collection. We are trying to put all the names within one collection. And what is that collection here? List. Okay, for example, I want to represent a student record. Student record is a list. Then what it is having? Roll number. Okay, name of the student, course of the student, and fees of the student. Now, how I represent a student record? I represent a student record as one list. I represent a student record as one list. And what this student is having, roll number, name, okay, course, and one more is what? Piece. Now, list can have the similar type values, or list can have what? Different types of values. That is called heterogeneous. It can be homogeneous. It can be homogeneous, or it can be what? Heterogeneous. So I try to print a list 2 and list 3, list 4, and names list. Okay, names list and student record. Student record. I'm using separator as a like this. Okay. Now this is a data exist in the list. Okay. This is a data exist in the list. Okay. Now you can use a list for storing one value or more than one value. So using square brackets, separating items with what here? Commas. But first one is using pair of square brackets that will denote which list here? Empty list. Empty list. Then there is one more way of creating a list. So the other way of creating a list is, okay, third one is using list comprehension. I'll tell you this again because for working with list comprehension, you should know certain things. Okay. And once we complete those concepts, I'll tell you how to create a list by using which one? Comprehension. But we'll try to see using list function or list type. This actually this you are using it. This is used to convert. Okay. So this is used. Okay. This syntax is used. This syntax is used. Okay. This syntax is used to convert other collections into which type other collections into which type list type. So this is used for type conversion, right? Okay, other collections into list type, or it is used to construct list using other iterables. All collections are called which one? Iterables. All collections are called which one here? Iterables. Okay, list is a iterable. Okay, list is a iterable. All collections. You can say all collections are called. So all collections are called iterables. All collections are called as which one here? Iterables. What is iterable? Which allows to read individually one value. Okay, which allows to iterate. Allows to what? Iterate. Which allows to iterate that you can call it as which one here? Iterables. For example, string is a iterable. So which allows to read individually one character or not? Yes. String is iterable, list is iterable, tuple is iterable, dictionary is iterable. Every collection is called as what? Iterable. Which allows to iterate, means which allows to read, which allows to read, which allows to read individually one value. So that you can call it as which one? Iterables, which implements iterator protocol. Iterables are nothing but which implements which protocol? Iterate. Like range is iterable. Range is iterable, which is able to generate number of values or not. Yes. So using the constructor type, list type is a list type or list. It followed by which one? Iterable. Two syntaxes are there. So iterables are collections only. Now syntax one is, this is for constructing empty list. This is for constructing empty list. And second one is list. It followed by iterable. So construct a list using existing iterables. Construct a list using existing iterables. So two things are there here. Two things are there here. Now, first one is constructing an empty list, and second one is list. It followed by iterable. Now, construct a list using construct the list using what here existing iterables, right? So the syntax is used to convert other collections into which type here? List type. For example, I want to convert. For example, I want to convert or I want to construct the list. For example, I want to construct the list. I want to construct the list using range. I want to construct the list using what? Range. I said 1 comma 6. This range will generate how many values? 5 values. What is 1 here? Start. What is the 6 here? Stop. So what is the default step here? 1. So it means this range will generate how many values? 5 values. It means you are constructing the list using how many values here? 5 values. Now if I'm trying to say print a list 5, print a list 5. Now list is having how many values? 5 values. I'm trying to say list 6 equal to list of range of. Okay, I'm trying to write minus 1 comma minus 6 comma minus 1. So here this list will generate. List is created with how many values? 5 values. That is from minus 1 to what? Minus 5. I'm trying to say list 7 equal to list of within double quotes. I'm writing which one here? Nourish. So range is a collection. Range is a collection or range is one sequence type. And nourish is also one collection or not? Yes. Nourish is a collection of which type? String type. Okay, nourish is a collection of which type? String type. So what will happen is the list is created. The list is created by reading each time. List is created by reading each time one character. So this range will generate how many values here? 5 values. Okay, range generate how many values here? 5 values. If you take a range, so that range will generate how many values here? 5 values. Okay, so this is a range, right? So this range generates how many values? 5 values. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what will happen? You are creating a list using how many values here? 5 values. You are creating a list using how many values here? 5 values. In the same way, Naresh is there. Okay, Naresh is having how many characters here? Some 6 characters are there. How many characters are there? 6. Now, every time it will read one character and put inside list. Every time it will read one character and put inside one list. So this is NARESH. So each character is one string again. Each character is treated as one string. Each character is treated as one string here. Now Naresh is there. Now each one is treated as one string here. So it will try to construct the list. Means we are converting string to what? List. We are converting string to list. Now your list is having how many strings? The list is having how many strings here? 6. Because see, sometimes it is useful because is a string is mutable or immutable? Immutable. String is not mutable. String is what? Immutable. I want to do some changes in string. Then what you do it? You convert the string into what? List. Because list is what? Mutable. You convert list into a string into a list and you can replace values. Okay, so in that case, you try to convert string into what again? List. String into again list, right? You can create a list. You can create a list from existing list. You can create a list from existing list. Now this is one more list. This is another list here. This is another list. You are converting a list into a list. You are constructing the list by using existing list. Okay. And you can also create an empty list by just writing empty parenthesis. And here, this list is what? Empty. So if you want to convert other collections into which type? List type. Like suppose in beginning we have seen type conversions, right? You can convert integer to float. How can you convert integer to float? Float function. How you convert float to integer? Using integer function. Using integer function, you convert float to what? Integer. Using float function, you convert float to what? Integer to what? Float. In the same way, how can I construct the list using range? By using list type. How can I convert string to list? By using list type. How can I convert set to list? By using list type. How can I convert dictionary to list? By using what? List type. Correct or not? Okay. So this conversions, you are trying to do it by using which data type? List data type. Okay. List function or list data type. Right. These are the different ways of constructing the list. These are different ways of constructing the list. So here we have seen how many ways here? Three ways. But actually, how many are there? Four are there. But this I'll tell you again. Okay, now. But how many ways are there to construct the list? Three ways. Four ways are there. But I said you how to construct it by using how many ways? Three ways. Then next, once we construct the list, okay, uh, then after constructing the list, what do you do it? You perform certain operations. After constructing the list, what do you do it? You perform certain operations. You perform certain operations. In order to perform operations, you need to read what? Data. I should read the data or elements or items from list. Then how can I read data from the list? How can you read the elements from the list? Or how can you read the values from the list? Okay. So how to read? Next, how to read elements? How to read elements or items from? How to read elements or items or values from list? So the objects what you store inside the list, whatever objects you are storing inside the list are called as what here? Elements. Or you can call it as items, or you can call it as which one? Values. So how to read elements or items or values from list? Okay. So why you are reading it? To perform certain operations, right? You create a list, and after creating list, you read each and every value and perform certain operations. So how to read elements or the items or values from the list? So reading elements from list, reading elements from list are done in is done in different ways. Is done in different ways, right? Different ways. The first one is you can read it using index. Okay, using index, because all the sequences are which collection? Index based, right? All the sequences are which collections? Index based. You can read the elements using index. And second one is using slicing. Okay, using slicing. And third one is using iterator. And fourth one is using enumerate. Using enumerate. And fifth one is using for loop. So how many ways can you read the elements from the list? Five ways are there. The first one is using index. But don't think that this is only for a list. All sequences, any sequence you work with it, all the sequences, in all sequence data types, you read data in how many ways? Five ways. Okay, in all sequence data types. Again, write all sequence data types. Okay, all sequence data types. All sequence data types allows to read In how many ways here? 5 ways. All sequences, not only list, all sequence data type, not only list, all sequence data types, it allows to read in how many ways here? 5 ways. First we'll see how can you read it by using which one? How can you read it by using which one here? Index. So what is index? What is index? Right? You can read the elements from the list using index, right? So what is the index? Index. Index is an integer. Okay, index is an integer value. What is index here? Integer value. It's not a float value. You cannot represent index as a float value. Always the index is of which value? Integer value. So what is index? Index is an integer value. Okay. Index. Index is an integer value. Index is an integer value given to index is an integer value to identify to identify each uh, to identify each element or value of which one here? List. I can say list or it can be which one? Sequence. Index is an integer value to identify each element or value of list or what is that? Sequence. It is nothing but each location in sequence is given a unique number called which one? Index. Unique number called which one? Index. Now using index, we can read elements or values in which order here? Sequential order or which order here? A random order. You can read it in sequential as well as what? Random, right? So what is index here? Index is nothing but which value? Integer value. Index is an integer value to identify each element or value of list or sequence, and each location in sequence is given a unique number called which one? Index. And using index, we can read elements or values in sequential order or what? Random order. But index is not a physical, index is what here? Logical. Okay, index is not a physical, index is what here? Logical, right? It is not a physical location. Physically, each location is identified with what? Address, but not with the index. It's not a physical number, it is only logical number, which we are using it to read and what is that? Write. Read and write. So this index can be positive or what is that? Negative. This index can be either positive or this index can be either what? Negative. So using positive index, we can read in which direction? Forward direction. We can read in forward direction, and using negative index, we can read in which direction? Backward direction. So this index can be either positive or what is that? Negative. If the index, using positive index, you can read the elements in forward direction, which is nothing but left to right. Using negative index, we can read in backward direction, that is right to left. Using positive index, you can read in forward direction, that is from left to right. And using negative index, we can read in backward direction, that is from right to left. For example, I'm trying to create one list. So there is a list one, where I'm saying 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So what will happen? It will create a list. Okay, assume that this is a list. This is a list with the size of, this is a list with the size of what here? 5. So how many values are there in this list? 5 values. This is 10 and 20. There is a 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40. And there's one more value called which one? 50. So these are the 5 elements which are there in the list. So what is the name of this object? List 1. So what is the name of this object? List 1. List 1 is a variable, and this variable holder, list 1 is a variable, and this variable hold address of which one? List. And this list is having how many values here? 5 values. Okay. Now each value in the list is identified with the index. Now this is 0, and this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, and this one is what? 4. Now this is positive index or negative index? Positive index. Now if you want to read in forward direction, if you want to read from left to right, you start at what here? 0. If you want to read from left to right, if you want to read from left to right, you start at what here? 0. You read the value at 0, you read the value at 1, you read the value at 2, you read the value at 3, you read the value at 4. If you want to read in backward direction, you start at what here? -1. This is a -1. Okay, you started -1. So there is a -1, and what is this here? -2. So -1, -2, -3, and this is -4, and this one is what here? -5. This is called which index here? Negative index. Now using this positive index, you can start reading from left to what? Right. And using negative index, you can read from right to left. Right to left and left to right. Now you want to read headers. That is what you call it as. In data science point of view, you call it as headers, and what is that? Footers. Okay, headers. I want to read first 5 values. 5 values are what here? Headers. I want to read last 5 values. That is called as which one? Footers. So if I want to read from bottom, I can use which index? Negative index. If I want to read from the top, I can use which index? Positive index. Okay. So that is what starts at 0 and starts at what here? -1. But using negative index also you can read from left to right. But if you want to read from left to right using negative index, I should know the starting index or not. Yes. But if it is a positive, always it starts at what? 0. Getting on not? Okay. So if you want to read it, you are trying to read it by using the syntax. What is the syntax is? List name of which one? Index. If the given index is not valid, then it raises index error. If the given index is not valid, then it raises which error? Index error. I'm trying to say list 1 of 0. What is the value at list 1 of 0? 10. If I'm saying list 1 of 1, what is the value at list 1 of 1 here? 20. If I'm saying list 1 of 2, what is the value at list 1 of 2? 30. If I'm saying list 1 of 3, what is the value of list 1 of 3? 40. If I'm saying list 1 of 4, what is the value at list 1 of 4? 50. So the value at 0 is 10, value at 1 is 20, the value at 2 is a 30, the value at 3 is a 40, and the value of 4 is what here? 50. Suppose if you want to read in reverse direction, right? I can write list 1 of, what is this here? -1. So what is the value at -1 here? 50. What is the value of minus 1 here? 50. And list 1 of minus 2. What is the value at minus 2 here? 40. And list 1 of minus 3. What is the value at minus 3 here? 30. And list 1 of minus 2. The value at minus 2 is what here? Sorry. Minus 4. The value at minus 4 is what here? 20. And list 1 of minus 5. What is the value at minus 5 here? 10. So you are trying to read in both the directions. That is in forward direction as well as what? Backward direction. So that is using positive index. But using index, how many values can you read? Only one value. Using index, how many values you can read? Only one value. Using index, how many values can you read? Only one value. You cannot read more than one value. Using index, you cannot read more than one value. Using index, you can able to read only one value. So that can be sequential. That can be what? Random. For example, if the list is having 100 values, for example, I'm trying to create a list. I'm trying to create a list with some 100 values. A range of 10 comma 110 comma 10. Sorry. Okay, 1 comma 101. 1 comma 101. If I'm saying 1 comma 101, your list is created with how many values? 100 values. Your list is having how many values? 100 values are there. List contain 100 values. So if I run this, now your list is having how many values here? 100 values. I want to read each time one value. I want to read each time one value. If I want to read each time one value, will you write every time saying list 1 of 0, list 1 of 0, list 1 of 1, okay, list 1 of 2 like this? If I want to write like this, I need to write how many times? 100 times. So will that becomes complex or not? Yes. So that will become complex, right? Then what will I do? I take the help of which loop? For loop. Now using this for loop, I'll generate indexes. Using this for loop, I'll try to generate what? Indexes. I'm saying for I in range of index starts at what here? 0. 0 comma 100 values means what? 0 comma 99. 0 comma 99 is total how many? 100. So if I'm saying 0 comma 100, it will generate how many values? 100 values. That is from 0 to 99. So 0 to 99 is total how many values? 100 values. Because the index starts at what here? 0. Then what I can do? I can say print list 1 of I. So this range is there. No, this range will generate 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10, like this. It will generate up to what? 99. What is the first value generated by the range? 0. What is the value at 0 here? Value at 0 is a 1. What is the value at 1 here? 2. What is the value at 2 here? 3. So are you reading individually values or not? Yes. So I just put separator as a, sorry, I just put the separator. I just put the separator as what here? Comma, right? You can see 1 comma, 2 comma, 3 comma. How many values are there? 100 values. But here this is reading from left to right or right to left, left to right. But I want to read from left to, I want to read from right to left. Okay, assume that I want to read from where? Right to left. Then how can I read from right to left? I need to create negative indexes or positive indexes. Negative indexes starts at what? Minus 1. Then minus 101. Then minus 1. So minus 1, minus 101 and minus 1. So minus 101 means minus 101 is included or not included? Not included. So this will generate from minus 1 to minus 100. Minus 1 to minus 100. Then minus 1. What is the value at minus 1? 100. What is the value at minus 2? 99. What is the value at minus 3? 98. Because I want to display this in which order here? Reverse order. That is from right to left. Index. So I want in the same line. So I just insert one new line here. You can see this is reading from left to right, and this is reading from left to right, and this is reading from right to left. Left to right as well as right to left. So for that, I try to generate positive indexes. I try to generate positive indexes. Positive indexes as well as what? Negative indexes. Positive indexes and negative indexes, and I'm trying to generate that by using which one here? Range. I try to generate that using range. Suppose if you don't know how many elements are there in the, if you don't know how many elements or values are there in the range, you can find out. You can find out the length. You can find out the length. You can find out the length. You can find out the length by using one predefined function called which one? Len. So len, it followed by which one? Iterable. Okay, len, it followed by which one? Iterable. Len is a predefined function in Python. This function returns. What is that? Total number of elements. Total number of elements count or returns which one? Count. How many values are there? How many values are there? Or length of collection. How many values are there? That is nothing but length of collection. I try to create a list with some 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500. If I'm saying length of list 1, what is the length of list 1? 5. I'm trying to say list 2 equal to comma 100 comma 200 comma 300 comma and 400. Yes, but this is given which error? Syntax error. Can I give empty values? I want to give empty values. Empty values. Empty means generally how can you represent empty objects? Actually, this empty objects you cannot write like this. If you want to define empty objects, you define the empty objects using what? None. So 200 comma what is that? None. Okay, 300 comma what is that? None. So total how many values are there in the list? Total how many values are there in the list? How many values are there in the list? 6 values. But within that, how many empty values? 3. If I'm writing length of list 2, then what is the length of this here? 6 only. So if there is no value that is represented by using what? None. If there is no value that is represented by using none. None means no value. None means what? Empty value or no value. None means empty value or what is that? No value. But you cannot avoid representing value by just putting which one? Comma. You cannot avoid just putting which one here? Comma. You must define the values. You must define the values, right? Until unless you don't define the values, okay, It will generate which error here? Syntax error. It will generate which error here? Syntax error. Syntax error because empty values are not allowed. Generated syntax error because empty values are allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Empty values are not allowed. Empty values are not allowed. Okay, right? Yes. That is what you mean by length of iterable, right? Okay. Just try to see here. Just try to answer this. So what do you mean by list in Python? List is which data type? Collection type. What type? Collection type. Sequence type. Is it list is a sequence or not? Yes. So what is it? A list is a data structure which is mutable and ordered sequence of what? Elements. Ordered sequence of elements where insertion order is what here preserved. It is ordered. In which order it is stored in? It is stored in which order here? Sequential. It is ordered. It is stored in which order here? Sequential order. A list is a data structure which is mutable and ordered sequence of what? Elements, right? So next one is the elements in a list can be of any type or fixed type, any type. Because I said no, list is a homogeneous or it can be what? Heterogeneous, right? So it can be of any type. Now elements in list are enclosed in, yes, square brackets. Values in the list are called elements. Values in list are called elements or you can call it as items. Okay, items are what is that? Elements. Items are elements. List are dash in nature heterogeneous or homogeneous. So actually, according to Python, generally you use a list for storing which values? Homogeneous. So by default, it is what? Heterogeneous. Means it can hold different types of values. Okay. List is dash data type linear and non-linear, linear, right? So elements in the list are separated by comma. Elements in list are separated by comma, right? Write the code to create an empty list named L equal to empty square brackets. L equal to empty square brackets that represent which one? Empty list. Online students are sleeping. No response, nothing. Online students, you people are there or what? Online, sorry. Online people are there or not there? We are present. You are present, but no answers. No answers here. So 115 students are there, 115 or 120 students are there, but no response. All people are sleeping in the, yes. Okay. So write a code to create a list of any three colors named. What is that color? So you can write like color equal to, you can write color equal to which one? This is a list. And within this list, you can put in single quotes. If you write like this, it will give error. Will it this work or doesn't work? No, doesn't work. If you write like this, it will not work. It will give error. What is this red, blue, and green? These are values. And you have to write these values in what? String. In single quotes or what is that? Double quotes. So this is a color list. Having how many colors here? Three colors. So that is a red, blue, and one more is what? Green. Red, blue, and green. Right? You have to write like this. We don't know nested list, right? Okay. Now write the code to create a list of 5 vegetables, 5 ovals, first 10 natural numbers, squares of first 5 natural numbers, any 5 names of your friend, all the alphabets of word, Taj Mahal, first 5 multiples of 6. So here you have to create how many lists here? 7 lists. You know it, like creating 5 vegetables, write in square brackets with the vegetables. With the vowels means write in the square brackets with what? Vowel. And first 10 natural numbers, you can create it by using range, list of range. Now squares of first 5 natural numbers. Okay. Squares of 5 natural numbers and any 5 names of your friend and all the alphabets of word Taj Mahal. Means you convert this Taj Mahal into what? List. If you convert this Taj Mahal into a list, it will read each time one character and create a list with each alphabet. Each alphabet. So first 5 multiples of 6. First 5 multiples of which one? 6. That is first 5 multiples of 6 is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Multiples of 6. What is multiples of 6 here? He is also not given code. First 5 multiples of 6. Actually, this 5 multiples of 6 means 6, 6, 12. I don't think so. Multiples. 6, 12 like that. Multiply. Multiples, multiply. 6, 12, 18 like that. Okay. No problem. Now write a code to convert the string practice into list. List 1 equal to list of practice. Now write the output of the following. D equal to A star J HJ question mark. List of D means what list contain now? This is a string, right? The string you are converting into which data type? List data type. What list is having? A. List is having what? A. Having what? Star. Having what? H. Having which one? J. Write the output of the following. A equal to string. List of A means. List of A means. No, wrong. Gopi Krishna. What you are saying? Write a code to convert string practice into list. List of practice. List of practice. It is like this. Not like that. It's wrong. Okay. Yes. So A, now list is having A star H J and one more is what? Question mark. Now list is having string. This is, write the output of this A equal to list. You created list with any values? No, this is creating which list? Empty list. This is creating which list? Empty list. What is a list function is for creating which list here? Empty list, or converting other iterables into which type? List type. If you want to convert other iterables, into which type? A list type, you are trying to use list. Now it is a special function. Okay, now write the output of this list A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Print A of 0, A of minus 1, A of 2, A of minus 2, and A of 1. A of 0 is what? 1. A of minus 1 is 5. A of 2 is 3. A of minus 2 is 4. And A of 1 is a 2. Right? So that is 1, 5, 3, 4, and one more is a 2. So fill the index value in place of in the place of question mark, as output should come as below, like P, Q, L, N, T. Now I should get the P, right? So P means this question mark should be what? 0. And Q means now 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this should be what here? 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. That is for displaying L. And then 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I can write minus 1 because last one, right? Can I write here minus 1? This is also minus. Actually, I have to take this minus. This is minus 1. And this is T. So we have to count it. Now 0, 9. I can take this as minus 1, right? Okay. So what do you mean by traversing the list? 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 Tell me, what do you mean by traversing the list? How to read elements, items from values from list or traversing list? So what do you mean by traversing the list? What do you mean by traversing the list? Reading elements from list is called as list traversing or not? Visiting each value, reading each value from the list can be called as traversing, right? So traversing means accessing each element of which one? List. Accessing each elements of list is called as list traversing or not? Yes. Right. So write a program to print all the elements of given list using for loop. Now you can generate index and read each value or not? Yes. List in Python are mutable or immutable? Mutable. Okay, list is a mutable. List is what? Mutable. But this operators we have not seen, right? No, operators we have not seen. No, I'm not telling this now. Okay. Index value of first element in the list is index value of the first element in list is 0. Index value of the first element in list is what? 0. First element is 0, right? Index value of the first element in the list is what? 0. Index value of the last element in the list is minus 1. First element is 0 and last element is minus 1. Okay. Using index, actually using index, you can able to read one value, and using slicing, you can able to read more than one value. Using index, you can able to read only one value, but using slicing, you can able to read what? More than one value. But slicing we have not seen, right? Slicing we'll see, but we have seen only index. Okay. Okay. So this is whatever we complete till now. The questions are related with that, right? But I said list is a mutable. List is a mutable or not? Yes. After creating list, okay, list is a mutable. Then after creating list, how can I add the values? Okay, list is a mutable. After creating a list, how can I add the values? By using append. So list provides, okay, list provides which method? Append method. List provides append method to add element or values after creating list. After creating list. After creating list, if you want to add. So this method add element at the end of the list. At the end, append means what? At the end. At the end of the list. Append will add always at the end of the list. So list provide append method to add element or value after creating list. Now you can say append is mutable method or not. Yes, append is a mutable method. Suppose I created one. Now what is the syntax of append is? You'll say list name dot is for accessing. From list class, you are accessing which method? Append method, and it followed by which one? Value. It followed by value. It followed by value, or it followed by which one? Element. It followed by value, or it followed by element. For example, I created one list. For example, I created one list, and this is called which list here? Empty list. Now list is empty now. List is what now? Empty. Is it list one is having any values? No. List one doesn't have any values. List one doesn't have any values. Now I want to add it. How can I add? By saying list one dot append. What you are trying to add? 10. List one dot append 10. Now list is having how many values? One value. I want to add one more value. List one dot append. Now list is having how many values? Two values. List one dot append. List is having how many values? Three values. Initially list is what here? Empty. After creating list, how you added by using which method? Append. So I added 10 and 20 as well as what? 30. But append is a method, and that is able to add only at the end of the list. Append is a method that will add only at the end of the list. Now you can see the list is having how many values? 4 values. So if you want to add the values at runtime, okay, after creating a list at runtime, you can able to add it by using which method here? Append method. See, any collection, you should know these operations. What do you need to know? Every collection, you should know these operations. You call it as crude operations, or you call it as which one? CURD operations. Crude operations or CURD operations. That is nothing but, so C is nothing but create. Create means, which you can call it as adding, okay, inserting, adding, or what is that? Inserting or creating. Okay, adding, inserting, or creating. Second one is what? U is nothing but what? Updating. Updating R means reading. R means reading, retrieving, and D means what here? Deleting. D is nothing but delete. Any collection, you learn list, tuple, set, okay, list, set, dictionary. Must know how many operations? 4 operations. How to write the data, how to read the data, how to remove the data, how to replace the data. If you take any database, collection is just like a database only. Collection is just like what? Database only. What kind of operations you do on the database, like inserting, updating, deleting, and retrieving? What kind of operations you do on the database, like inserting, updating, deleting, and what? Retrieving. So collection is also just like what? Database, where you'll try to store the data, read the data, replace the data, and remove the data. These operations, what you do in real time. If you know these operations, you can solve any problem. If you know these operations, you can solve any problem, right? So we'll try to see in each collection how to perform this operations, but this is about which one here? List. But how can you add the values into the list? By using one predefined method called which one? Append. So list provides append method to add element or values after creating list. This method add element at the end of the list, and append is which method here? Mutable method. Because is it this method is doing some changes in the list or not? Yes. The method which do some changes in the list is called which method? Mutable method. Okay, the method which doesn't do any changes, that is called as immutable method. So what this method is doing, is it doing some changes in the list or not? Yes. Then you can call this as which method? Mutable method. You can call it as which method? Mutable method, right? Okay, fine. Maybe we'll just try to practice this today, and tomorrow I'll tell you more about this, right? So thank you. We'll see tomorrow this, right?